views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens up the Bronx and the world to you. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Coming up on today's show, we'll learn about an event taking place in the Boogie Down Bronx to help you build and manage your wealth. How to put some money in your pocket and keep it there. We'll sit down with an organization working to provide equality and economic stability to women everywhere. And after that, we'll find out about what one organization is doing to bring farm fresh foods right to our city. Then the Bronx organizations have come together to provide residents with affordable community support and agriculture. We'll get all the details. Then later on, as the school year approaches, we'll be joined by an educator and a businessman for a look at his many programs. So stay tuned, all this and more is headed your way because we are now definitely open. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open, the only live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. We want to encourage you to stay connected to us. You can tweet us at BronxNet TV or follow us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Leading off the show on April the 24th, the Small Business Development Center, they're going to be hosting a wealth building workshop at Lehman College. And joining us with all the details, we have the Executive Director, Clarence Stanley. And you're no stranger to the show, of course.
Thank you for your continued support.
Yes.
This Wednesday, August 24th, workshop, we've been at Lehman College now for a little over 16 years. Mm-hmm. And in that 16-year period, we've counseled, talked to, or educated over 10,000 small businesses and helped businesses raise over $110 million in economic financing.
That's a lot of dough.
And the Bronx, as you probably know, the Bronx is happening right now. We've seen the Bronx go through a lot of changes. But now we're starting to see the Bronx. We used to call it the New Bronx, Brooklyn. Yeah. The Bronx is now the New Bronx. In fact, you just may have seen just last week, Silver Cup Studios.
I did.
Grand opening right here in the Bronx. I know the borough president talked about that.
Yeah. Started right there in Queens, over by Queensboro Plaza. That used to be a bread company.
Exactly.
Silver Cup.
Yep.
Yeah. Now it's TV and film studios and all that stuff. And now we're in the Bronx.
Now we're in the Bronx, yeah. and a lot of good things going on. And we've, as I said, we've talked to a lot of businesses over the last 16 years. But we focus primarily on getting businesses started, showing folks how to get access to capital, how to get loans, how to put business plans together, all that. Mm-hmm. So over the years, all those 10,000 businesses we've spoken with and dealt with, now the question is, how do you sustain a business? I can show you how to make money, but how do you retain your wealth and build wealth? And how do you build a legacy for your family? Yeah. And so that's, even the small business, we're funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration. And they're now focusing on not just helping you get a loan, which we can do. That's our strength. Help you put together a business. And now with the whole new social media, how do you get your website going? How do you do all these other things?
Marketing. Yeah.
Marketing, getting your business going. But now I want to focus on, showing businesses how to, understand the tax code. Mm-hmm. Part of this discussion we're going to have on Wednesdays, understanding the tax code. We talk about how you build wealth. The millionaires and the billionaires, and you take a look at their tax returns, and you start to see where they understand the tax code. And so what we do here, a lot of my business owners prefer to hide cash rather than show cash. Well, I want to show them how to, let's do some above ground. Let's talk about how do you set up a pension plan for you and your employees? How do you set up different programs? How do you understand the insurance code? Understand things like...
That'll help you keep more of your money, of course.
Help you keep more of your money legitimately. Yeah. And so then now we're going through this whole, what we call the financial literacy, showing business owners how to build wealth. And then once you learn the tax code, we learn how to earn money, now you learn to do things like depreciation. Now you want to get money into investments. Yeah, there's some risk out there, and that's, but you're already in business, so you're taking a risk. And we talk about one thing, the bigger the risk, The bigger the payoff, you take no risk, you get no payback.
Yeah. So when it comes time to do your taxes, you have money tucked away in all of these places, and your taxes are more or less reduced.
Exactly. You've
or
got
on
things,
hold.
understanding things like the depreciation code. You know, and what you can buy with depreciation, and insurance, life insurance, health insurance. You know, on the life insurance side, there's a whole discussion on key man insurance. And what happens if you start a business and you pass away? What happens to the business? What happens to your family? You know, if you have a partner, how do you have a? So we have this business continuation. So there's a whole discussion on insurance, a whole discussion on wealth building. How do you set up an IRA? Some folks are not familiar with an individual retirement account, you know, and I always thought one of the things I want to talk about on Wednesday is I believe in T.D. Jenks' discussion on multiple streams of income.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So
I know it well.
I kind of leave with that and say, well, we're going to talk about the tax code, but I need you to have a backup plan, to have another way to have some streams of income. And one final point that I really want to make is to try and own your own real estate. I'm a big proponent of not paying rent.
There.
And now you've got an interest rate environment where interest rates have never been lower than, I've been in this business for over 40 years. And I remember when the prime lending rate was 22%. 22%. So the bank was making more money than the business.
That was considered loan sharking back then.
That was considered legal loan sharking.
Yeah, that's right.
So now you've got a situation where the prime lending rate is 3.25%. If you want to buy a home right now, you can get a mortgage for 3.5% or 4%. So I tell business owners, in terms of building wealth, real estate, buy your own home. I'd like for you to do that if you can.
Yeah. What if people are afraid because maybe they have some blemishes on their,
on their credit? That's a good point, Dr. Lee. We talk about one of the things we've done over the years is work. I have a book on credit repair, and it's not you can't repair credit, but you can work on your credit. So most banks credit score lend. They use the credit score. If you don't have a 640 or 650 or 670 credit score, they don't want to talk to you. But there are non-banks and non-traditional lenders that really don't look at the credit score. They look at what we call character lending. Are you going to make a difference in the community? So my job is to navigate that and find out where you can find that lending institution that will lend you based on things you're going to do. You may have had things in your history that your situation has changed. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago. Maybe you were sick. Maybe it was something that happened that you couldn't control. Yeah. So some banks look at the explanation. But the one thing I would consider is ask clients as we talk about these workshops, build wealth. If you can own your own real estate, we have a great program in the SBA where we'll take a second mortgage. The bank will take a first mortgage, and you only have to put out 10%.
Look at that.
Okay, so that's called
now who would know?
They're called the SBA 504. So if you're paying rent, you're paying $3,000 a month rent. The average rent in the Bronx is between $25 and $35 a square foot.
For business.
For business.
Business rent.
And so you're paying $25 to $35 a square foot. Well, I said, I can show you how you can own that same property for what you're paying for rent.
Look at that.
And you can own, if you get a mixed-use property, where you can have the property, your business downstairs, and rent apartments upstairs. Yeah. And so we can kind of work in that whole cash flow. What the SBA will do then, what we'll do is show you how, if you have $1 million piece of property, I can't afford $1 million. Well, guess what? If you can come up with $100,000, the bank could come up with 50%. We'll put in 40% on the second position, and you have to come up with the $100,000 or the 10%, whatever it is, and you have enough cash flow coming in between your rent that you would be paying, and you're paying rent to yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
And now you may have some tenants in there. And we can even do that with commercial property.
It's way different from just paying rent where you're just taking your money. You'll never own it. You throw it out. It's like throwing it out the way you're occupying space.
Exactly.
But when you own it, you're putting money into your own
exactly. And what
for equity and everything like that.
What you're seeing right now is if I can put you into a piece of property at 5% or 6%, that's like, I would almost say it's free money, but it's the lowest I've ever seen. And you're not going to see it much lower than that. And so I encourage one way to build and accumulate wealth.
So we'll get a chance to see all of this at the workshop.
At the workshop.
Everybody's going to be there.
I'm going to try and do a lot of stuff in that morning, but the main thing is when you walk out, you will have an idea where you can take your notes from that event and say, okay, I built so well. Here are my ideas. Let me go implement it and come and see us right here at Lehman College at the Small Business Development Center.
There you go. A wealth of information right there.
My pleasure.
You've made a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I want to sustain it.
Yeah, and you have those success stories, and you can probably tell us that,
we got
some of those stories at another time.
Exactly.
So where can we go for more information on how to keep a whole lot of money in our pockets?
Well, you call us up for our website is www.nysbdc.org. That's the New York State Small Business Development Center. And our telephone number to register is 718-960-8806.
There you go.
Or you can go right to the Lehman homepage and you'll see continuing education and your small business right on that same homepage.
Give Clarence Stanley a big round of applause, everybody. Executive Director, Small Business Development Center. He'll keep a whole lot of money. You want to be rich? Do you want to be rich? Learn how to keep more money in your pocket. Well, that's the man right there, Clarence Stanley, Executive Director of the Small Business Development Center. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you again. Thanks again for your continued support.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Open next.
Adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hello, good people of the Bronx and beyond. Welcome to A Life in Art.
Our next guest is the Executive Director of the Women's City Club of New York. Joins us today for a preview of her work towards equality. We're pleased and proud to welcome Jacqueline Ebanks to the show.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Great.
So we heard a little bit about what you're doing, but why don't you let us know, tell us about some of your work.
Well, first, let me say the Women's City Club of New York is a diverse and multi-generational network of women dedicated to shaping public policy to improve the quality of life for all New Yorkers. And as our founders did 100 years ago, and this is our centennial year this year.
Oh, look at that. I didn't know.
We continue to advocate for economic, gender, and racial equality. And our goal really is that all New Yorkers should achieve economic stability, enjoy equal access to the opportunities that make them successful, and live safely in their communities. So we have been working recently and focusing on providing information about low and no-cost services to communities and to individuals in needs. And we have produced some guides guides to resources and services, where we list hundreds of nonprofits across the 5 boroughs within each borough. And we're really proud to say that at the end of September, the Bronx Citywide Guide will be available. So,
Resources and services.
Right.
Tell us about it.
well, what we thought was during the recession, many services were cut, but need was increasing. However, we felt it was critically important still to connect those in need with those limited services.
To a number of
and
nonprofit
to a number of
organizations.
nonprofit organizations. And so we identified over 600 in the Bronx, and it's by no means exhaustive. And we have identified hundreds in other boroughs as well. And it ranges from looking for aftercare service, after-school services, housing services, immigration services, just so that we connect people within community to these
So
resources.
this is all of this information is in the guides that you
All
publish?
of this is in the guides that we publish, and we publish them borough by borough.
Borough by borough.
Right now, and we have them in print and online. So if you visit wccny.org, you will see the citywide guide, and it's a searchable database. But we also have them in print, and you can call our office at 212-353-8070, and we'll be happy to mail a guide to you.
And this is all for non-traditional services? I mean, the services that you normally get are not there. You can go to the nonprofits, and
Yes.
that will be in the guides.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And that's where we are. The other thing that I want to share is that we're actually focused on having deeper discussions about inequities.
How deep?
And how, well, so deep that we're going to have a day-long conference in September 29th, at the New York Academy of Medicine, which is on Fifth Avenue. And the really important thing is that we don't want to just identify the problems or describe the problems. We're talking about solutions. And there are nonprofits in communities that have worked on solutions for decades. And we have executive directors there to share those solutions with us.
I like that, because all too often we go to a lot of these meetings and we talk about the problems, but people leave out of it. Well,
What are we
scratch
going to
that.
do? Right.
What's the next thing? I mean, how do
Yeah.
we get to the root of this problem and get eradicate it?
And that's exactly what our members said. And we had to recognize, as our founders did 100 years ago, there are changes. And so there are solutions. Probably the biggest challenge we have with the solutions is that they benefit very few people, and we need to also discuss how can we ensure that they benefit more individuals.
Talk
and that's
about it.
really key. So, it's a journey that no one organization can go on. We're calling the conference From Inequality to Equality, Policies and Programs That Work. And so it's really important that we have groups of individuals having this discussion across the city and working together. So we hope the conference will also enable people to facilitate collaboration.
Yes.
We have capacity
important.
for 400 people, so everyone's invited. There's a small fee, and again, visit our website. The fee should not be a barrier, so if you have difficulty making the fee, call the office and we'll help to ensure you can be there.
Okay. What do you hope to accomplish in terms of civic engagement?
When our organization was founded, women didn't have the right to vote, women couldn't work, and we see now, 100 years later, that we are on the verge of, we have one party nominating for the first time a woman for president. That's tremendous progress. But there are 100 million more glass ceilings to be broken. And we want to make sure that the change that we have gained is maintained, but that there are other areas that we continue to move on. The importance of pay equity for women, that women must earn equal for comparable work to men. We also want to ensure that we deal with the health disparities that so very often negatively impact women of color and also families of color. We want to make sure as well that we talk about this work-life balance in such a way that women and men and people in same-sex families can work and enjoy family life as well. So there are many issues that we have to continue to move on, and those are the successes that we hope to achieve as an organization.
So within this conference, you're going to be talking about a lot of those things?
Within this conference, we're going to look at healthcare issues, we're going to look at employment, we're looking at housing and homelessness, and we're looking at education. Again, this is a great equalizer. We want to look at education from UPK through college. And we have 5 areas of focus at the Women's City Club: good government, health, housing and homelessness, income inequality, and public education. They all work together to ensure that we have, as individuals, opportunities to thrive. And I think it's really important in this city, where unfortunately we continue to have the greatest disparity between high income earners and low wage earners. But it's also the city with such opportunity that we really should take advantage of it and create the change that we talk about so much.
All right, well, with all those things that you put together, what do you hope to accomplish? What will people leave?
One of the things that we want to ensure that we accomplish is that women's voices are present at all tables, that women are seen as critical and vital parts to making this city run. And so we want to ensure that they are leaders in the public sector, that they are leaders in private sector, and that they continue to be visible in their leadership. And that's really critical. So we will hope that at WCC, we provide a platform for this.
And finally, how important is this election to your organization?
Every election is important to our organization. It is really critical that people go out to vote. This is a momentous year, absolutely. But we want to make sure that it's not just about this election, but every election that happens, our local elections, our statewide elections, really critical. People go out to vote. Yes. And I also want to encourage folks to consider being poll workers. On that day of the election is one of the hardest jobs, and those folks are guardians of our democracy on that day. We should really sign up as citizens, become informed and engaged. And I'm so proud to say I signed up and got trained, and I'm just waiting for them to call me so that I'll be a poll worker.
And don't forget, it's not only the general election, there's an election coming up September the 13th
we
Senate,
have our Senate primary
and Assembly.
And
Senate and Assembly
Absolutely.
on the 13th. So make sure you get out there and exercise.
Great.
Your right to vote.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Give her a big round of applause, everybody.
Pleasure
Jacqueline
to be here.
Ebanks, Executive Director, Women's City Club of New York. Thank you so much for coming in, all right?
Thank you.
You're a wealth of information.
Glad to be here.
All right, we have to take a quick break, but coming up next, we'll learn about a movement to bring healthy food to urban areas. But first, St. Barnabas Hospital held an event to showcase the importance of reading to our youth. Let's take a look.
St. Barnabas Health System wants you to keep in mind that a hospital can also be a good learning environment for your children. The health system held a book reading event to promote the importance of reading to your children as part of the National Reach Out and Read program.
It's important for these young doctors in training to learn how to teach parents that there's different ways they can get the families involved to read to the kids, encourage them for early development, curiosity for books, love for books.
Studies have shown that children who learn to read at an early age have greater general knowledge, expand their vocabulary, and become more fluent readers. They also have improved attention spans and better concentration.
The purpose of this is not only to encourage parents to read to their kids, because that will increase the bonding between parents and kids, but also we have proof that early reading will help in their reading skills and their language skills.
Rachel Ali came to work with her mother, who happens to be a unit clerk at the hospital's pediatric center. She tells us her favorite book right now is The Ugly Duckling, a children's book by Hans Christian Andersen.
It makes me like think of other people, but some of them want to read books, and now I know why.
Reading is also learning.
Watching her daughter learn with other children, this mother says is an excellent way to teach them how to communicate early.
Learning how to speak, to interact, to explain situations.
The health system has books available for children of all ages who visit the hospital as part of the many ways they reach out to the community. Nancy Asiama, BronxNet.
It's not always easy being a dad.
Do you have panda asthma too? Does that run in the family? This is the home of the most priceless kung fu artifacts.
But when you make an effort,
Dad, we're not supposed to touch anything. Oh, sorry. Go along, son.
it's always worth it.
Whoa, faster!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
And welcome back. Fresh Kids will host a Farm Fresh Festival for kids. Joining us with a preview, we have co-founder Sandra Velez. We welcome you to the show.
Thank you for having
What do
me.
we have here? Can we start eating now?
Of course. So we have popcorn, corn puffs, pretzels. We are a movement that started 2 years ago. Myself and founder Suzanne Bros she's based out in a farm in Virginia, and she really heard the calling from Michelle Obama for kids to start exercising, start eating healthy, and she decided she had to do something. Suzanne and I met volunteering together at an event that was all about helping children and bringing awareness. And she told me about this idea, and I said, oh my goodness, I have a 4-year-old son. My background is nothing with food. I've been in the fashion industry for 20 years. I said, I have to join you and bring this to life. And that's what we did. And here we are 2 years later, and we are growing our first festival for kids. It's our first annual. We have teamed up with Howard Hughes Corporation, and I'm sure you've heard of South Street Seaport.
Yes.
We're
and
making
I did a
it.
boat ride over there. We played the Hughes Corporation.
Mhm.
Don't rock the boat.
Oh.
Don't rock the boat. No, I know you're not talking about that, but go ahead.
But we're making South Street Seaport a destination for kids on
Excellent.
September 17th.
I like it.
And we're bringing Suzanne's farm from Virginia to the city. And that's what Fresh Kids is all about. We're clean and healthy snacks for kids, but it's about the inner city youth.
So why is this so different from the other stuff that's packaged and sold in our store? Oh, non-GMO.
It's non-GMO, it's kosher, it's no artificial flavors, and our
Gluten-free.
pretzels started in New York City schools. And so we're not just a snack company, we're about the experience for kids. We are about the inner city youth that doesn't have accessibility.
Sure. So this is healthier than the normal
Yes,
stuff that's in the machine.
gluten-free.
Yeah. And no salt. It looks like there's no salt on those pretzel
Our
sticks.
pretzels are lightly sweetened with honey. So you still get a really nice taste from them. So for our festival, we've teamed up with 5 community organizations.
Who are they?
One of them being the Green Bronx Machine,
look at
located right here in the Bronx in PS 55. And they are just going to be showing kids, connecting them to food and how it grows. And kids are going to be able to experience everything from petting animals to composting, things that they normally wouldn't be able to experience in the city. So we're going to have a ton of farm activities, potato sack races, but we're also going to have the urban twist. So you're going to be able to do basketball drills. It's going to be really fun.
The urban twist. All right. The farm stuff with the urban twist.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in one of those potato sacks and try to win that race there.
I don't know that they're your size, but we can try.
I'll put them around my ankles and just go. So what made you want to come together with this? I mean, you're involved in fashion. And you have a fashion background. And how did you get involved in that?
I worked for Kamorley Simmons and Russell Simmons, growing baby fat.
Yes.
And once I had my son, who's now 4, I just heard a calling for a greater purpose. And living here in the city, not all kids have the accessibility. They're not aware. It's only recently, because of Michelle Obama, that this movement has started. Let's get kids to exercise. Even right here in the Bronx, Ruben Diaz Jr., not 62. He's doing amazing things. We've teamed up with him. We've teamed up with the National Puerto Rican Day Parade to bring these snacks to kids who only know certain choices when they go to the corner store.
Sure, that's it. And you know, kids, sometimes they're growing up unhealthy. They have all these degenerative diseases, and a lot of it stems from the food and the air that we breathe in certain areas.
Yeah, and it's not just about a healthy food choice. It's also about the experience. How many kids here in the Bronx have gone to a farm and really experienced what there is there? Horseback riding, potato
So you're bringing that
samples.
farm to the city.
The whole thing. We're turning South Street Seaport into a destination where you're going to have to choose.
You're going to have cows and things out there?
We're going to have it all. We're going to have chicks.
So you have to watch where you walk. You said chips.
We're going to have
said cow.
chicks.
She said chips.
I say we're going to have chickens. We're going to have hens. It's just going to really be fun.
Yeah. So kids will get an opportunity to see where it all comes from.
Yeah, and we've also teamed up with TD Bank as part of the festival. So kids are going to get, when they register, they're going to get something called Fresh Bucks. And they're going to be able to go in and buy fresh produce from farmers with these Fresh Bucks. All sponsored by TD Bank. So kids will also be able to connect to money and how to learn how to use it and to make the decision. Now you have to go and choose. Do you want to buy tomatoes and go and make a salad afterwards, or do you want to go and use it in a creative way at the festival? So they'll have plenty of opportunities to not only have fun, but also to be educated while they're doing so.
September the 17th, and we'll be back in school and everything. And we
yeah,
can bring,
perfect.
Who are you reaching out to? All the schools and congregations and community centers, churches?
Everyone. So as I mentioned, 5 community organizations. They're Green Bronx Machine, City Growers, Fresh Air Fund, Edible Schoolyard, and we're going to be working with them to bring all their kids and also all the surrounding communities, all the boroughs, Westchester, Connecticut. It's not just about
Fresh Air Fund's coming to the city. I used to work for the Fresh Air Fund.
Oh, we love them.
And bring kids way upstate to these homes, and you know. They used to spend, like, I think, summers on farms and things like that. So the Fresh Air Fund is coming down now. They're coming downtown, huh?
Yeah, so all these organizations are going to be bringing their children. And as I mentioned, the Green Bronx Machine, of course, will be bringing their kids from PS 55.
You're excited, huh? How many years have we been doing this?
We've only been around 2 years.
2 years. What did you do? Where were you last year?
Last year, I was thinking about what to do next.
There you go. So you didn't have a location, so now we're coming out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Bring it out, bring it out, bring it out. Where can we go for more information?
Please check out wearefreshkids.com. You can go on there and also go on to our festival site on Eventbrite, so you can register. It's a free event. It's free.
It's free.
All you have to do is register so that we know the capacity of how many kids are coming and make sure we have something waiting for you, but it's all free. Once you get inside, you're going to get free snacks. You're going to get water sponsored by Aqua Hydrate. You're just going to be inundated.
Aqua Hydrate.
Yeah, they're one of our
the
festival
pH is
partners.
pretty high. I think it's 9.0 or something like that. Yeah. And TD Banks is giving away money.
And they're giving away money, Fresh Bucks.
Yes, Fresh Bucks. Thank you so much for stopping by. Is there a website we can go to?
Wearefreshkids.com.
Freshkids.com. Sandra Velez, give her a big round of applause, everybody. Co-founder, Fresh Kids, freshkids.com. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
We got to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Open next. More Open.
You gotta learn your body, pace yourself, and have fun. So let's go have fun. Let's go do it.
The tricky thing about shoulders, your shoulders is a 3-tier muscle. You have your front delt, you have your rear delt, and you have your mid delt. So when you're working out your shoulders properly, you have to do 3 different exercises.
It's wonderful being able to compete with a lot of these young guys from all over the world. It's important to stay in shape.
Every Monday night at 9, we talk to the borough's movers and shakers about the latest in Bronx politics, education, healthcare, arts and culture, and literally any and everything that's important to the people of the Bronx. There's a reason why Bronxites have been turning to Bronx Talk for more than 20 years, because Bronx Talk is about you and me, the people of the Bronx. So we'll see you Monday night at 9.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I bought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
And welcome back, everybody. Hey, on Thursday through November 17th, Bronx and New York City organizations have come together to bring healthy and fresh foods straight to the borough. You got to look at this. It's amazing. Joining us for more information, we have Fresh Foods Bronx Program Coordinator Nicole Tucker and Nutrition Program Coordinator at Bronx Works, Carolina Espinosa. You didn't think I was going to say that? Carolina, hey. So welcome to the show, guys. I mean, we've got a healthy show going on today, right?
So,
I see we got everything that we need. We can make a nice salad here.
Yeah. So Fresh Food Box is a program of Grow NYC. So we're a nonprofit, and we're best known for the green markets. We have 52 green markets throughout the city, including Union Square. But this is one of our programs that is really focused on helping people in not necessarily low-income areas, but areas where you just can't get produce, which is a big portion of the city. So what you do is you go to one of our 23 sites, you sign up, and you pay $12.
This is throughout the 5 boroughs?
Throughout 4. We're not in Staten Island. That's the only one we're not in. So you pay $12. You can use EBT, you can use cash, you can use credit, you can use debit. And the following week, you come back and you pick up a bag of locally grown produce. So this is a sample of a food box. So they got green leaf lettuce, rainbow chard, 4 ears of bicolor corn, a couple of things of garlic, ginger gold apples, some grape tomatoes, which you can totally really good for you, green beans, and gold bar zucchini. So, and then we also have add-ons that people can get. So we have pasture-raised eggs that usually retail.
I buy these. I see these in the store.
So they usually retail between $7 and $8 a dozen, and at Food Box you can get them for $4 because we're a nonprofit. We just try to sell them for as close to what the farmer is charging us. We also have cold-pressed oils from Vermont, New York State maple syrup, if you'd like to try that.
Oh, yeah.
And we have both large and small bottles of locally grown honey, locally made honey, which is raw and unfiltered and unprocessed. So if you have allergies, this is the stuff that you want. We can try that as well. Non-processed. So it hasn't been filtered. It has all the different kinds of pollen in it, which can help your immune system fight off allergies.
But don't feed it to a youngster before age 1 because the kid can get botulism. So after age 1.
After it's not botulism. I don't know why they say that.
Yeah,
but
it's all over the place.
It's a thing.
It's a bacteria that kids they can't digest it yet.
Yeah. So, but we can try any of those if you're interested.
Yeah. Sure.
I love this. SF stands for
summer
flowers. And a couple of our sites are partnered with BronxWorks. So
can I put it on an apple?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, now you can just take a bite.
Yeah.
What's that?
Really tasty.
Sweet.
Yeah, really
I like it.
You don't need a lot.
Yeah, keep that here. This is very good. So you're in where are you in the Bronx?
So I can talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
So at BronxWorks, we partner with Grow NYC and their Fresh Food Box program. And currently, right now, we have 2 sites with BronxWorks. One at our 1130 Grand Concourse and one new site at Bronxchester Houses in the South Bronx. That one's relatively new, just started this July, so we're really hoping.
We have 2 more. We have another one at Bella Vista Health Center, and we have another one which is sort of in the Hunts Point area, and then we have another one in Claremont, right outside of PS 55.
Can we crack some eggs?
Take a look. Yeah, they're beautiful.
They are really.
Now, when you
do taste really
when you
good.
check these eggs, you got to make sure they don't stick.
Yeah.
Everything moves. Because if they're stuck, then that means something's cracked down
Yeah.
there. So
Nope.
they're all moving. They're great.
So the difference between these eggs and an egg you would maybe buy in the store, those birds are fed on grain, but chickens are actually carnivores. They like to eat bugs. They eat some seeds, but they really like to eat bugs. And when you buy eggs in the store, they're usually growing up in small cages where they're just being fed seeds all day long. These birds, they're actually raised
They're free
on.
range?
They're more than free range. They're pasture range. So there's a barn for them to go back to. This particular collective, Hanson Brook Farm, sources their eggs from mostly Amish farmers. So those flocks are quite small compared to huge industrial chicken farms, and they're literally like let out every day, and they go foraging. They're supplemented with some seeds, but they're mostly foraging for insects, and so the yolks are extremely yellow and very high in nutrients.
Oh, what is in salmon?
Omega-3s.
Omega-3s.
Yes,
and
so
you will
there's
find
omega-3s.
omega-3s, and normally you won't find them anymore
it's true.
in eggs. You will find omega-3s in these eggs
those
and
eggs.
in the chickens because
Yeah.
they are free range.
Exactly, and you'll also find a lot of beta carotene because they'll pick at the grass, and the grass has high levels of beta carotene, which is the
Right.
same thing you find in carrots, good for your eyes. So all kinds of wonderful nutrients that maybe you won't
Yes.
find in a it's a little more than your factory farmed, but
Well, the factory farm
really-
chickens won't have omega-3s in them
Right,
because
exactly.
they just feed them, and they're supposed to run around and eat
Yeah.
what they want to
Yeah,
eat. And
they're supposed to be out in the sunshine,
Yes.
and these guys are out in the sunshine. Yeah.
very, very, very good. Okay.
So-
You named 2 locations. What's the other
So,
location?
I mean, in addition to like the program, we also provide education through BronxWorks, nutrition education, cooking demos. So we sort of
Where do we do this?
At all the sites, everybody.
At every site we
Yeah,
do.
right now in the summer, they've got the Nutrition Education for Kids program going on. But we also do on our own some nutrition education which aligns perfectly with Fresh Food Box.
Now, how
And-
important is that? Because, a lot of kids are growing up and
Well, yeah,
Super
exactly.
know what they
So
know.
a lot of, because there's such low access and they grow up with very limited access to these fresh fruits and vegetables, when you do see them, you don't know what to do with them.
Can I
So,
double dip?
Yeah.
No,
Wait,
you
hold
can't
on,
put
no,
this
no.
back in
Here,
there.
you
Use
know
a
what
new
you
one?
can do though? I can give you a new one
with maple syrup.
with
There you
maple
go.
syrup.
Now, how healthy is maple syrup?
Well,
This
when
comes
you
straight
have
from this comes from the bee. This comes from the tree.
this comes from the tree, and actually it does have some trace nutrients. That's why it's brown,
this
kind of
is
like
really, really
molasses
good.
and stuff.
I wish I had some pancakes.
Yeah, but the more flavorful the syrup is, the less you have to use of it. So you
Exactly.
really don't have to use as much because it's more smoky and more rich and more flavorful than. And a lot of the syrups you buy in the store are often cut with high fructose corn syrup. This is
Yeah.
just maple syrup.
And
So-
sometimes your system can't deal with that.
Yeah,
It's not
high
meant to
fructose
deal.
corn syrup enters your body differently. It can really mess up some stuff. So if you're going to eat something sweet, the more natural it is, the better it is for you.
It'll give you a glycemic spike. Stay away from those foods that give you glycemic
Although if you have
spikes.
diabetes, just
Yeah.
yes, you can stick with the apples though.
Everything in moderation. Don't
Yeah,
get
don't-
off of your
don't start
medication until you
swallowing
bring
this
everything
down,
down.
yeah.
But you can bring everything down
by eating
by
lots
eating
of
healthy
vegetables.
and exercising.
Yes, lots and lots
You
of
want to stay away
vegetables.
from those things that give you the glycemic spikes.
That's right.
You know what I see a glycemic spike as? You have your pancreas, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has insulin and everything. I see it as a sponge. When you get that glycemic spike, it just drains your
good
your
analogy.
pancreas
Yeah. There you
of
go.
all the insulin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But anyway, we can correct a lot of things with foods that we eat. This is so very, very important. Where can we get more information on this?
So, BronxWorks is one of our many partners because we have 23 sites and you guys have 5
So,
sites.
yeah.
So, if you want more information on Fresh Food Box in particular, you can go to grownyc.org/foodbox. It lists all of our sites. We have a calendar there that tells you the days and the times. We have a map, an interactive map you can zoom in. And that's just a really great way to find out the site closest and easiest for you to get to.
All right, help me out. Lycopene will help you with the prostate. Garlic,
That's just
antibiotics.
Yep.
Corn, of course, this has been around for
It's
years.
just delicious.
You like grits?
Everything is fiber,
It's made
right?
from
All
corn.
vegetables.
Yes.
String beans
We've
and
got
everything.
wonderful string beans. We've got some gold bar zucchini. These are ginger gold apple. It's an early summer apple, which is different than the late
All
summer
natural,
apples.
right?
Yeah, all locally grown. Rainbow chard.
It smells good.
And green leaf lettuce. So there's a lot of meals here. I always say, you buy the food box and then you supplement it with some grains and protein. And, we have families that are like vegetarian and maybe they'll buy 2 food boxes a week. My family is a family of 3. We buy 1 food box a week. So,
So tell everybody who you are. Here's a camera right here.
So at Bronx Works, you can go on our website or you can call the number there to get more information about Fresh Food Box, or go on Facebook or our Instagram.
And you do the same thing. There's a camera there.
Okay, Fresh Food Box, grownyc.org/foodbox will take you to our map and our calendar and our fact page and give you all the information you ever wanted.
All right. Thank you so much. Give them a big round of applause, everybody. We're going to try to take this home. We'll have to take a quick break right here, but we'll be right back with a program working to bring tools and education to our community. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And I can't change, even if I try, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Hey, I'm Darren Jaime. I'm the host of Wednesdays Open right here on BronxNet Television, Channel 67, and also on Verizon Files, Channel 33. Want to invite you every Wednesday. You get an opportunity to see what's going on in the world of news, current events, debates, public information. That's what happens here on Open every Wednesday. So we invite you to join us right here on BronxNet Television.
Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is the Executive Director of Circle of Color Community, and he joins us for a look at the work towards education. We welcome Isaiah Jefferson to the show.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah said he used to listen to me at 107.5 WBLS. He said he listened to me all his life. I said, yeah, we're the same age. What are you talking about?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, we do this wonderful thing here on BronxNet. We create the awareness. A lot of people come down and, get a chance to, instead of doing like a 30-second or a 60-second public service announcement, they get a chance to really let it all out and let people know we're open.
That's right, that's right.
And we get a chance to work with some wonderful people. We have Helen and the whole crew backstage, like the Wizard of Oz. Don't listen to those people behind the curtain. And we have some interns and college students that work with us, and they get a chance to work with professionals. So when they go out into the world,
that's right,
They have already had a little touch of professionalism.
And that's our responsibility.
Yeah. So tell us about what you do. Tell us about Circle of Community.
Circles of Color Community Organization.
This whole thing mixes in together.
Yeah, absolutely. We started off as a business network back in 2003, I would say. And I can still remember I was a consultant at the UN at the time when I was asked to do a career day at Dwight Morrow High School in Englewood, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I can still remember speaking to these about 100 kids, administrators that came out. And at the end of my talk, a student comes up and during the Q&A says, "Mr. Jefferson, I thank you for your talk and very inspirational. But I got a question for you." And he says, "Will you come back?" No one comes back. A lot of people talk and they never return.
There's no real follow-up in it.
Right.
Some people do. A lot
Some
of
do.
organizations do, but people want to. If he came up to you and asked, that means there's a need.
That's right.
He wants you
There's
to
a
come
need.
back.
That's the whole thing. You think about what's happening with education and the lack of, in a lot of ways. I think about doing these lectures, which that's what we were very engaged in every single week with a theme. You're the author of your own life story. What are the choices? How did you do it, Dr. Bob Lee? Come tell that story in a very structured, organized way so the kids can get those key points that you made to get where you are today.
Right. I have some of that stuff in the book that I put out, 7 Ways to Make the Grade. We got to come to your school and maybe
Absolutely. I look forward to that. And I want a copy of that book, by the way. Signed.
Yeah. Okay. So what did that student say when he came up to you and said, "You know what? We need to follow up"?
Well, this is what he said to me.
Can you please come back?
This is what he said to me. He says, "Will you come back?" And I said, "Absolutely. I'll be back if you're back next Friday." Here we go now in our 13th year without missing a week of a weekly lecture series. Every single week, a different person, different background, come in, tell their story, the choices they made to get where they are today.
And the effect that has on a student, they remember those things.
I still like
if
to
you
see
come
it.
once and don't come again, they forget about it. It fades away.
That's right.
Sometimes they'll remember it, but if you have that follow-up.
Well, they're letting me know some of the results you asked that have come out of this here. 7 valedictorians that have come through this program. 2008, I was doing another lecture, and a student stands up to me and he says, at the end of the lecture, I brought in a guy from Washington, D.C., who was a toy maker, and he says, "Mr. Jefferson, you talked a lot about jobs, and your speaker, great, talk on jobs. Can I tell you about what the word job means to me?" He says, "Both of my parents have jobs," and he talked about one of his friends having a job. He says, "J-O-B means just over broke."
Oh,
Can you teach me how to start a business?
Yes.
That's what he said in front. If you ever work with kids, you say one thing, it's like a tsunami that goes across the room, and all of these kids are saying, "Teach me how to start a company." This is in 2008.
Wow.
Here we go now, 2012. We get some support from some friends. We put together our very first business program called the Entrepreneurial Educational Out of School Time Program.
I like it.
That teaches kids the backstory. See, we've, for the last 10, 20 years, we've said to kids, go get a skill in a trade. They listen to us. Now, those same kids are packing groceries in the grocery stores.
I see some of your kids there.
Absolutely. So now, it's our turn.
Any success stories from
Absolutely.
the kids that
Absolutely.
have come up to you?
One of our students, I'm thinking about Dennis Taylor, who's just an incredible young man. Didn't speak much, but you know something, he was a phenomenal artist, phenomenal writer, and he just approached
And
me
he was
recently.
left-handed.
And, hey, I think so, come to think about it. But either way, he was determined, and that was important. He was determined to do something. He was
I just say that
determined
because he's right-brained, so he's mostly autistic. If he was left-handed,
Yeah, but my thing is for our children is them understanding the society in which they live in. Most of us don't understand. We live in a structured society. This is business with your community as your responsibility. The Circles of Color Community Organization is saying, I'm not asking anyone to do something I can do. That's what's important. Education for us, we've stepped away from it for the last 50 years, and now we're the biggest complainers of education. The charter school movement, which started for us in 2012, 2013, gave us the opportunity to say, you know something, I can get involved. I can do this. I don't have to complain about what someone else is not doing. I can do it. And now here we go today. We have the Universal Business Academy Charter School in Englewood, New Jersey. Well, it's not open. We just got first phase approval by the state of New Jersey to open in Englewood. But this here is a concept that is business-based. we're going to teach our children how to start companies. Main Street USA has a responsibility to every community it touches. We don't understand it. If we do understand it, we have not applied it. And what we're going to do is teach our kids an applied education.
This is a nonprofit.
Absolutely.
How are you funded?
Well, support. We get support from the community.
Companies.
Yes, absolutely. Corporations gets involved. I'm very, very honored to put a partnership with Microsoft together. We got some affiliates at KPMG that helped us out as well. And the thing is, it's been very, very grassroots. People just saying, something, I believe in what you're doing enough to say I'm willing to put my support behind it. And that's beautiful. I'm very, very honored to be in this situation.
For a long time, I was visiting schools throughout the tri-state area, trying to teach kids to stay in school and be on time and get a good education. The parents were involved, the community was involved. Of course, Percy Sutton, who backed it. He thought it was a wonderful program, so as Hal Jackson and Frankie Crockett did. And well, I believed in the public school system, and these other things started popping up, private and parochial. Parochial was there, but then the charter school system came in. I said, no, we got to put more emphasis on the public school system. But
it's so easy.
There's some great charter schools out there today.
Understand what took place coming out of the 60s. Most of us don't understand, once the civil rights was in place, you had people making decisions about education instantly, except for a group of people. We were just limited to what was there, what was local to us. Education is personal. We're supposed to take responsibility. How many times you've heard it? It starts at home. And home's not just the households, the community at large. And that's what we have to do. We're just taking responsibility. We're saying it's our turn.
I have some great friends that own charter schools right now. And they're doing, the schools are like doing great. Kids are doing great. The parents are more involved, it seems like.
That's the beauty.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility. That's what I love about the charter school movement. There's a responsibility to the parent to get involved, which they should have in the public school as well. But we're in a time frame that we need to teach our kids how to survive. It ain't about nothing else but saying, you got to understand this structure is business with the community as your responsibility, not the other way around. We're teaching our kids to be S Corps, C Corps, LLCs, and in other words, create jobs.
Create jobs.
Create jobs.
Streams of income, create jobs. Streams of income. Percy Sutton taught me a great lesson about that. I'm going to wrap it up right here, but he said, you know what, when he was alive, he said, I keep about 4 or 5 businesses. If 1 or 2 or 3 fails, I'm still in business.
That's right.
I still have that on tape.
I just want to give thanks to the Billion Foundation.
Yes, indeed.
Because I wouldn't be here, if it wasn't for them, taking a look at what we're doing and actually saying, how can we get involved? And that's the type of support we're looking for.
Where can we go for more information?
You got a website of universalbusinessacademy.org, or you can get at me directly at 201-308-3924.
Isaiah Jefferson, Executive Director, Circle of Color Community. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't go anywhere. We need to talk to you more. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank all of our guests, you for joining, for tuning in and checking it all out. And if you missed any part of today's show, you can tune into the recablecast of Open at 5 and 10 p.m. or watch anytime on the web at BronxNet.org, or you can catch an all-new episode Wednesday at 10 a.m. with our host, Darren Hyme. For all of us here at BronxNet, thank you guys, everybody on the camera, floor managers, the guys backstage in the Wizard of Oz room, Helen. Thank you guys for making it all happen. And always remember this, what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. God gave you 2 feet, put 1 foot in front of the other and step to what you need to do. I'll catch you another day, another way. I'll catch you on BLS later. Peace.